To anyone watching these kayak videos, if you've never done one before, you probably suspect that I don't know what I'm doing. And experienced kayakers know that this guy doesn't know what he's doing. No shit. Tell me about it. But I learned a lot, you know. You have to start someplace, and I learned a lot. That was my second kayak trip. The first one I started in Elk River, Minnesota, and went all the way to Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin. It was a little bit different because I only had enough money to buy the equipment and some supplies to start, and then I had no more money, so I had to go into town and beg for money to get supplies to continue. So I was seeing the town in the distance, and I started looking for a place that I could pull the kayak up and hide it before I got into town, and then I'd creep into town. Not that I was sneaking into town, but I just wouldn't want to see somebody to see me leaving the area where my kayak was, where they'd find it. Eventually, that in Prairie du Chien, that was where that first kayak trip ended. I was pinned down by the weather for like 5 days in Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin, and I'd hidden the kayak in a wooded area, and when the rain stopped and I went back to continue the trip, the kayak was gone. It sucked too, because I'd spent like $125 on food and stuff, and I couldn't carry it on my bike. I had my bike with me in town. I took my bike with me and was riding around town panhandling, and when it stopped raining, I went to buy supplies, and I took it all back there. The kayak was gone. I just basically had to just leave all the supplies except for a bottle of water and a few things of food. I didn't really take the food with me because it's not the type of stuff I'd eat on a bike trip. It was the stuff I'd eat on a kayak trip. Sucked. I had to ride out of there, you know. And I wouldn't have chosen to ride from that spot. But anyway, it was kind of interesting, that one, because I was going into all the towns. Hastings, and filming. Red Wing, Winona. Winona was fascinating. Spooky. It's really beautiful, but it's spooky because it's a witch coven. What are you talking about? Go there. Check it out. You'll know what I'm talking about, okay? Where else? I don't know. I can't remember all the towns I went to. Pretty much everyone along the river, you know, I was having to pull into and go beg and shop. But I'm going to do another one. That's why I'm making this explanation video. I'm going to do another one. I'm going to keep uploading the ones I have to keep adding content to my channel. It's the best I got right now. I'll be creating new content from me, either hanging around panhandling and bivouacking outside showing you what I'm doing, or I'll be doing a bike trip pretty soon. Because I'm just waiting for the weather to get better. I gotta watch myself too, because just without any motivation at all, I'll get myself into a jam. Let's go. I'm tired of hanging around here, and I'll find myself getting stuck pinned down by bad weather in a place I don't want to be, you know, really don't want to be. It's not really the ideal spot for that to happen. But I still have that kayak in a storage space. It's been a couple years. Can't you tell by looking at my face? The COVID knocked me down. It aged me substantially. I could just look at the videos like, wow, I look way younger in those videos. It's only been a couple of years. I'm old, so, you know, this is me. Now I'm going to do another one, and I'm going to do a lot of upgrades. I'm going to get more hatches so it's easier to access the interior of the kayak. I might replace the one that I was having problems with. I think it might be defective. It doesn't seal properly, maybe. Doesn't seal. I don't know, that's all I know. It seals a little bit, but it still was leaking when it would get overloaded. That was the problem. I was overloading it. It wouldn't do it, except that I had too much weight on it. But I'll get more hatches. I could put another hatch in the rear. There's a spot where I could cut out a hole and install one of those twist and seals. I might get another twist and seal, an 8-incher, and put it where that old one is. And I'll get maybe a 6-incher twist and seal Hobie and put it in the front. I don't know if a 6-inch will work in the front, because I don't know if that flat spot's big enough. I could get maybe an aftermarket 5-inch hatch that screws in. And I know that would work. There's a flat enough spot at the front for that, but I'd like to get the twist and seal 6-inch. That would make it way easier to access the hatch. I mean, the interior of the kayak for storage. Because I'm having to, trust me, it was hard. I had that one hatch, and I was having to push stuff way to the back and way to the front. And I was using lanyards where I could drag it back out and it would get jammed, and I'd have to turn the kayak over where it'd shake it, and I wouldn't have to do that if I had more hatches. I'm going to get the AMA and AKA kit. I don't really need it for the stability, but it would make it more stable. But the main thing is they displace those, they're outriggers with pontoons. I don't know why they call them AMA and AKAs. I think it's a Hawaiian thing, an island thing from the Pacific. Everybody does it. Everybody calls them that, so I'll call them that too. But I know it increases the payload capacity of the kayak because they displace about 2 gallons each, and that's 16 pounds. That's 32 pounds. So let's just say if I twist them down and push them into the water, it'll increase my payload capacity, you know, maybe 25 pounds or more. You know. I'm thinking about getting a sail too. I've been getting some constructive criticism, I'll call it, from people commenting on my videos on the channel, and it's like, Jeff, more action. Okay, I get it. Yeah, I understand that. I'm thinking about getting a sail. That would really make it more exciting. The thing I'm mourning is I'm not really going to be able to. I'm trying to avoid going into town. I don't want to. I'd love to go into town and take pictures of the old downtown, the river towns, make my videos more interesting, but I can't. I'll lose my kayak. I can't mess around. I got to get over there, get to the store, and get back. You know, and I want to skip as many towns as possible because every time I do it, I could lose the kayak. There's and the same thing that happened on the first trip. I had just spent $125 on supplies, come back, and I'm not going to be able to carry 8 gallons of water and 25 cans of food. I'm going to do different food supplies too. The cans were a problem. They were, I'd have them stored in stuffed sacks and plastic bags, and they'd puncture they're rough, they're sharp, and they puncture the plastic bags, and the water's getting in there, and they'd get wet, and they'd start rusting. And I didn't like that. And they'd get dinged. I didn't like that. And a lot of them were pop tops, and I was worried that pop top would get like punctured a little, pushed down a little bit, and I wouldn't know it, and it would just be leaking. Yeah, I was afraid of those cans. I'm thinking about foil packets. You get foil packets of tuna, foil packets of chicken. Maybe I have a little stove and use with propane tanks and use top ramen. I'm gonna do that. Still the beef jerky, the nuts, the peanut butter. Maybe I'll use granola bars, you know, prunes for some fruit, and of course I'll be supplementing my my diet with vitamins. You know, of course. I think that's the only thing that kept me from getting scurvy on the last trip. Honey. And of course, every time I go into town to go shopping, I was thinking also of ordering some storable food that you just mix with water and heat up on a stove. I'm going to have a stove this time. I'm going to try to do better with the food because I was starving to death and it wasn't the right stuff. Okay. Well, anyway. To be continued.